Dr. Amanda Richardson's fingers trembled as she input the final sequence into the quantum scanner. The alien wreckage before her held secrets that could determine humanity's survival. 3 floors of reinforced concrete and lead shielding separated her underground lab from the chaos above. But even here, she could feel the periodic rumble of orbital bombardment. Dr. Richardson, Captain Marcus Hayes called from his security station. "We've got incoming data from the Denver facility. They're reporting complete structural failure. The bunker, it's gone." She closed her eyes, fighting back tears. Dr. Emily Watson had been in that bunker, her mentor, the woman who'd guided her through quantum mechanics at MIT. Now she was gone, like so many others. The hegemony hadn't just attacked Earth. They targeted humanity's centers of learning first, as if trying to lobotomize the species before moving in for the kill. "Log it," she managed, her voice steady despite the grief. "And get me Colonel Walker on the secure line. The preliminary scans show something he needs to see." The alien scout ship had crashed 3 days ago during the initial assault, while the hegemony's capital ships hung in orbit like dark stars, raining death on major cities. Their smaller craft had engaged in systematic strikes against military installations. This one had taken a lucky hit from an experimental electromagnetic pulse weapon at the Cheyenne Mountain facility. The pilot died in the crash, but the neural interface system remained intact. The secure line crackled to life, displaying Colonel James Walker's weathered face on the quantum-encrypted monitor. Despite commanding what remained of North America's military forces, he looked like he hadn't slept in days. He probably hadn't. "Tell me you found something useful, Amanda," he said, skipping any formalities. In the background, officers rushed back and forth, coordinating what remained of Earth's defenses. "The neural interface," she said, pulling up the scan results. "It's not what we thought. The hegemony ships aren't controlled by advanced AI, like we assumed. They're using direct brain-to-ship connections. But here's the thing. Their system is incredibly rigid. It's designed for their specific neural patterns, their way of thinking." Walker leaned closer to his screen. "And that helps us how? Human brains are more adaptable. We've got higher neuroplasticity, especially under stress. Their system is built for precision and consistency, but our minds..." She paused, double-checking her findings. "Our minds could theoretically interface with machines in ways they never imagined. We could turn their own technology against them, but make it better." The colonel's expression darkened. "How long?" "To reverse engineer and modify it for human use. 3 months, maybe 4. But we'll need resources, and more importantly, we need time." Walker nodded, his jaw set with determination. "I'm consolidating our remaining forces under a new banner. The Terran Defense Initiative. We've got submarines launching counterstrikes from the deep Pacific trenches, guerrilla units harassing their ground forces in the Rockies, and a handful of experimental aircraft hidden in hardened bunkers. It won't win the war, but it'll buy you time." A distant explosion rocked the lab, causing dust to drift down from the ceiling. Captain Hayes checked his tablet. That was close. They might have detected our power signature. "How many test subjects will you need?" Walker asked, already typing orders into his command console. 5 to start. Preferably pilots with advanced combat experience. Their neural patterns will be crucial for the initial calibration. Amanda glanced at her own neural scan results. "And sir, I want to be the first test subject. I need to understand this from the inside out." "Absolutely not," Hayes interjected. "You're too valuable to risk." "Approved." Walker cut him off. "Sometimes the best way to understand the enemy is to think like them. But Amanda," his voice softened slightly, "be careful. Humanity's fighting chance might rest on what you discover." The transmission ended, leaving Amanda staring at her reflection in the dark screen. Beyond the lab's reinforced walls, humanity faced extinction. But here, in this underground sanctuary of science and desperation, she would forge humanity's response to the hegemony's aggression. They thought they were dealing with primitives, with beings too simple to comprehend their advanced technology. They were about to learn how dangerous that assumption could be. She turned to Hayes, her expression set with grim determination. "Get me everything we have on human neural mapping. And Captain, tell your security team to be ready. The real work begins now." Major Michael Hayes stood in the observation chamber, watching through reinforced glass as his sister flatlined for the third time in an hour. Dr. Richardson's team worked with practiced efficiency, pulling Amanda's consciousness back from the neural interface, her body arching off the medical bed as emergency protocols kicked in. "Her sync rates are improving," Dr. Richardson said, not looking up from her neural monitoring station. "Each connection lasts 12% longer than the previous attempt." "She's dying," Hayes growled, his fists clenched. "We're all watching her die." "No." Richardson's voice carried an edge of excitement that made Hayes want to shake her. "We're watching her evolve. Look at the pattern recognition scores." The holographic display showed Amanda's neural activity during the brief connections. Where the alien interfaces showed steady, predictable patterns, her brain created chaos. Beautiful, organized chaos that somehow processed combat data faster than any hegemony system. "The human mind," Richardson continued, "doesn't just adapt to the neural load. It embraces it, reshapes it. Your sister isn't dying, Major. She's becoming something new." 3 years of war had changed them all. The underground facility, carved deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, had expanded into a labyrinth of laboratories and training chambers. The surviving pilots who'd volunteered for the program carried scars both visible and hidden, but none had achieved what Amanda Hayes was showing them was possible. The medical team stepped back as Amanda's vital signs stabilized. She opened her eyes, and Hayes saw something different in them, a clarity, a connection to something beyond normal human perception. "How long?" she asked, her voice hoarse. 42 seconds, Richardson replied. "You broke your previous record." Amanda managed a weak smile. "This ship, it sings. Not with sound, but with potential. I can feel the reactor's heartbeat, the shield harmonics, every system waiting to respond." She turned to her brother. "We've been fighting them wrong. Their neural interfaces are about control, about imposing order. Ours needs to be about flow, about becoming part of the ship's dance." Warning klaxons shattered the moment. Captain Sarah Reynolds' voice came through the facility's comm system. Multiple hegemony warships detected entering the system. "This is not a drill. They found us." Hayes turned to Richardson. "How many pilots are ready?" 3 have achieved stable neural connections, but none at Amanda's level. "We need more time." "Time's up," Amanda interrupted, already pulling sensor leads from her body. "Help me to the hangar." "Absolutely not," Hayes and Richardson said simultaneously. Amanda stood, swaying slightly but determined. "The interface works. I've felt it. And right now, I'm the only one who can prove that humanity has evolved beyond their expectations." She grabbed her brother's arm. "You know I'm right. The hegemony thinks they're coming to finish what they started. Instead, they're going to meet humanity's next step forward." Richardson checked her tablet, biting her lip. The neural connection might hold in actual combat. The adrenaline spike could actually stabilize the interface based on our simulations. "But Amanda, if you push too hard, I'll die." Amanda laughed, a sound with more steel than humor. "We're all dead if we can't show them something unexpected. Better to burn bright than suffocate slowly." Hayes recognized the look in his sister's eyes. It was the same expression she'd worn when they were kids, and she decided to jump her dirt bike over Miller's Creek, terror mixed with unshakable determination. He keyed his tactical comm. "This is Major Hayes. Prep Prototype 1 for immediate launch, and get me Colonel Walker." As they rushed through the facility's corridors toward the hangar, Hayes caught Richardson's arm. "If she dies up there." "She won't," Richardson cut him off. "Your sister isn't just interfacing with the ship's systems. She's rewriting the rules of what's possible. The hegemony built their neural tech to function like a precision instrument. Amanda's showing us it can be more. A symphony where human intuition conducts the orchestra of warfare. They reached the hangar as the first distant explosions reached them. Amanda was already climbing into the prototype fighter, its sleek form a hybrid of salvaged alien tech and human innovation. She caught her brother's eye one last time. "See you on the other side," she said, managing a cocky grin that almost hid her fear. "Try to keep count of how many I take down." For the record books. The canopy sealed, and Hayes watched as his sister prepared to either make history or become another casualty in humanity's desperate bid for survival. Above them, the hegemony's warships entered weapons range, unaware they were about to face something their rigid doctrine had never prepared them for: human improvisation unleashed through their own technology. Lieutenant Emma Carter tasted copper in her mouth as her neural link synchronized with her fighter systems. The red dust storms of Mars swirled around her squadron, providing cover that the hegemony's sensors struggled to penetrate. Their mighty flagship, Stellar Spear, hung in low orbit like a predator waiting to strike, its crystalline hull gleaming under the distant sun. "Neural sync at 93%, she subvocalized, knowing the link would carry her thoughts to the rest of Ghost's squadron. "Remember, we only get one shot at this. The dust storm ends in 12 minutes. Through the neural interface, she felt her pilot's acknowledgments more than heard them. 7 other consciousness streamed alongside hers in the combat meld, their thoughts focused to laser precision by months of training. They weren't just pilots anymore. They were the evolution of human warfare. "Ghost Lead." Commander Rodriguez's voice cut through their shared consciousness from mission control on Phobos. "Stellar Spear is launching interceptors. 60+ bogeys incoming. They're taking the bait." Emma allowed herself a grim smile. The hegemony's tactical doctrine was as predictable as it was lethal. Overwhelmed with superior numbers, pressed the advantage with technological superiority. But they'd never faced humans who could think and react at the speed of thought itself. "Ghosts, execute Sandstorm Protocol," she commanded. Through the neural link, she felt her squadron's excitement spike. They'd practiced this maneuver countless times, but never against actual hegemony forces. The risk was enormous, but so was the potential payoff. Their fighters split apart, diving deeper into the Martian storm. The alien interceptors followed, their superior sensors confused by the magnetic properties of the dust. This close to the surface, the storm acted like a natural ECM blanket, reducing the fight to visual range, exactly where the humans wanted it. Emma's consciousness expanded through her fighter systems. She didn't just pilot the craft, she became it. Every sensor reading, every minute adjustment in the gravitational drive, every weapon's calculation flowed through her mind like instinct. The neural interface translated her combat intuition into action at the speed of thought. The first wave of hegemony fighters emerged from the dust cloud directly ahead of her. Their crystalline hulls, designed to deflect energy weapons, sparkled with static discharge from the storm. Emma didn't think about attacking. She simply acted. Her fighter rolled impossibly tight, dancing between enemy plasma bolts as her quantum-locked missiles found their marks. Through the combat meld, she orchestrated Ghost Squadron's response. Each pilot became part of a deadly ballet, their movements synchronized yet unpredictable. The hegemony fighters, bound by their rigid combat programming, couldn't adapt to the controlled chaos of human instinct enhanced by machine precision. They're breaking formation, Lieutenant Sarah Chen reported through the link. Confirmed kills at 23 and counting. They've never seen anything like this. Emma pushed her consciousness deeper into the neural interface, ignoring the warning signs of neural feedback. "Form up on me. We're going for the big one." Ghost Squadron reformed from the dust storm like avenging angels, their fighters covered in the red sand of Mars. Above them, the Stellar Spear's command crew was only beginning to realize the true threat. Their interceptor screen was in chaos, their rigid doctrine shattered by an enemy that fought like no other. "Multiple hull breaches detected," Rodriguez reported. Their shield grid is destabilizing. Whatever you're going to do it now. Emma felt blood trickling from her nose as she pushed the neural interface to its limits. Ghost Squadron. Execute Thunderbolt Strike. We're taking that ship. Their fighters moved as one, threading through the gaps in the Stellar Spear's defense grid. Emma's consciousness touched each weak point, each vulnerability in the massive vessel's armor. The quantum-locked missiles launched simultaneously, guided by human intuition enhanced by machine precision. The Stellar Spear's bridge never saw the final strike coming. Emma's fighter crashed through the command deck's armored windows, her consciousness screaming as the neural interface transmitted every impact. The last thing she saw before darkness took her was the look of utter disbelief on the Hegemony Admiral's face, the moment when they finally realized that humanity would not go quietly into extinction. When she awoke in the medical bay 3 days later, her right arm was gone, but humanity had its first captured Hegemony capital ship. More importantly, they had proof that their evolution had surpassed their would-be conquerors. The Battle of Mars wouldn't be the end of the war, but it marked the moment when the galaxy learned to fear human ingenuity. Admiral Thomas Reynolds studied the holographic being before him, trying to detect any sign of deception in its elongated features. The Orcs representative, who called itself First Speaker Nexus, had been explaining their proposal for the past hour in the secure chamber beneath Geneva's ruins. "Your species fascinates us, Admiral," Nexus said, its multi-tone voice creating subtle harmonics in the air. "In 3 years, you've accomplished what most races fail to achieve in centuries. Your neural interface innovations alone have forced us to reconsider many long-held beliefs about evolutionary potential." Intelligence Officer Kate Morrison stood in the shadows behind Reynolds, her augmented eyes recording every micro-expression, every subtle shift in the aliens' bioluminescent patterns. After the Battle of Mars, she'd spent months studying captured Hegemony data about the Orcs. Their reputation as master geneticists was well-earned, but it was their history of uplifting, and subsequently enslaving, other species that concerned her. "You're offering us quite a package," Reynolds replied carefully. "Advanced terraforming technology, genetic enhancement protocols, even the locations of hidden Hegemony staging areas. Why?" Nexus's skin rippled in what their briefing suggested was amusement. The Hegemony has grown stagnant. Their doctrine of technological superiority through rigid control has held back true innovation for millennia. But humans... The alien's eyes shifted color, displaying patterns that Morrison's implants interpreted as excitement. "Humans take technology and make it dance." Morrison stepped forward, her movement deliberately casual, like what Lieutenant Carter did with your neural interface designs. The Orcs' reaction was subtle but telling, a momentary flutter of chromatophores that suggested surprise, perhaps even unease. "Yes, precisely. We designed those interfaces to impose order on chaos. You transformed them into conduits for controlled chaos itself." "Magnificent." Reynolds shared a quick glance with Morrison. The Orcs hadn't designed those interfaces. They'd been standard Hegemony technology. "First, Lycott. Your offer of alliance is generous," Reynolds continued, "but some of my colleagues have concerns about compatibility. Your genetic enhancement protocols, for instance, they seem remarkably well-suited to human biology, almost as if we've been studying your species." Nexus completed the thought. "We have been. Extensively. The Hegemony's attack on Earth provided us with ample opportunity to gather genetic samples from battlefields. We believe humanity has untapped potential that our science could help realize." Morrison's augmented eyes caught the subtle change in the alien's pheromone emissions, anticipation, but tinged with something darker. She transmitted a coded neural pulse to Reynolds' secure implant. "They're not studying us. They're hunting us." Reynolds maintained his diplomatic expression, decades of military service helping him mask his growing unease. "Your proposal will need to be reviewed by our full council, of course. But speaking personally, I'm intrigued by the possibilities." "Of course," Nexus agreed, its skin patterns shifting to show pleased acceptance. We understand the need for careful consideration. The genetic optimization protocols alone could revolutionize your neural interface program. Imagine your pilots achieving even stronger connections, deeper integration with their ships. As the Orcs continued its sales pitch, Morrison's analysis programs pieced together a disturbing pattern. The genetic enhancements they proposed would indeed strengthen neural connections by making human brains more similar to Orcs neural patterns. The terraforming technology included subtle markers of control systems. Even their tactical data on hegemony positions seemed designed to funnel human forces into specific configurations. The Orcs weren't offering partnership. They were offering a beautifully disguised cage. We'll need time to prepare our infrastructure for this level of cooperation, Reynolds said smoothly. Perhaps we could begin with small-scale technological exchanges. Nexus's skin rippled with satisfaction. A wise approach. We look forward to a long and productive relationship with humanity. After the Orcs delegation departed through their quantum portal, Morrison finally voiced what they both knew. They're going to betray us. Reynolds smiled grimly. Of course they are. But their betrayal just handed us exactly what we needed. A window into their true capabilities, their real intentions, and most importantly, their critical weaknesses. Sir, contact Director Mitchell. Tell him Project Oracle just got a new priority target. The Orcs think they're studying humanity. His smile turned predatory. Let's show them what a real study in evolution looks like. Director Robert Mitchell watched the holographic display as another quantum surveillance node winked to life in the darkness beyond Neptune's rings. Dr. Jessica Brooks stood beside him, her neural interface glowing softly beneath her skin as she monitored the network's quantum entanglement readings. Node 793 is online, she reported, her eyes moving rapidly beneath closed lids as she processed the data stream. The gravitational masking field is performing better than expected. Even their advanced sensors will read it as natural space-time distortion. Mitchell nodded, studying the expanding web of surveillance coverage. Project Oracle had grown far beyond its original scope, becoming humanity's invisible eye across the stars. Each node was a masterpiece of human innovation, combining reverse-engineered hegemony technology with principles the aliens had never considered. The Orcs delegation is requesting another technology exchange, his assistant reported from a nearby console. They're particularly interested in our neural interface refinements. Give them version 3.2, Mitchell ordered. The one with the deliberately inefficient quantum processing core. Let them think they're stealing our secrets while they implement our Trojans. Brooks opened her eyes, a hint of concern crossing her features. The latest data from their shipyards shows they're advancing faster than predicted. They've already adapted the propulsion systems they shared with us for military applications. Exactly as expected, Mitchell smiled. Commander Cooper's report from the Proxima colony. A new hologram sprouted from the display table, showing a massive underground facility carved into an alien world. Commander David Cooper's weathered face appeared in a separate window. Construction is ahead of schedule, Cooper reported. The orbital defense grid is fully operational, masked by the planet's magnetic field. The Orcs' geological survey team never detected our presence during their pass-through last week. Dr. Brooks's gravitational distortion fields worked perfectly. Mitchell felt a surge of pride. While the Orcs thought they were cleverly manipulating humanity into dependence, humanity was seeding the stars with hidden strongholds and invisible eyes. The aliens' own arrogance had become their greatest weakness. Dr. Brooks, Mitchell turned to the scientist. Show them the latest breakthrough from your team. Brooks initiated a secure holographic projection, revealing schematics for what appeared to be a standard Orcs propulsion system. We've been feeding them technology they think they can control, but each piece contains elements they don't fully understand. Their engineers are so focused on looking for obvious traps that they're missing the fundamental principles we've hidden in plain sight. The schematics shifted, showing energy patterns that flowed like water through the system's quantum architecture. They see these patterns as inefficiencies to be corrected, but they're actually quantum resonance keys. Once enough of their ships incorporate our flawed designs, we can shut them all down with a single command. Mitchell completed the thought. Beautiful work, Doctor. A priority alert flashed across the main display. Another Orcs science team was requesting permission to study human neural adaptation techniques. Mitchell authorized the visit with a gesture, knowing that every piece of data they collected was carefully crafted to lead them down a path of humanity's choosing. Sir, Cooper's hologram interjected, the deep space sensors at Proxima just picked up something interesting. The Orcs are constructing something massive at the edge of their territory. Initial readings suggest it's some kind of genetic research facility. Brooks's neural interface pulsed as she accessed the data. The energy signature matches their bioweapon research facilities. They're preparing their own surprise. Mitchell's expression remained calm, but his eyes hardened. Deploy surveillance nodes 11 through 15 to hit better coverage. And notify Admiral Reynolds. Tell him Operation Looking Glass is now active. As his officers carried out their orders, Mitchell stepped closer to the main display, watching the endless dance of stars and secrets. The Orcs thought they were dealing with clever primitives, a species that could be manipulated through their own ambition. They didn't realize that every secret they stole, every weakness they thought they'd discovered, was another strand in humanity's web. Dr. Brooks, he said quietly, how long until the quantum resonance network reaches critical coverage? 3 more weeks at current deployment rates. 4 if we maintain perfect stealth protocols. Maintain perfect stealth protocols, Mitchell ordered. We only get one chance to show them the true meaning of evolution. Captain Rachel Martinez felt the quantum entanglement drive hum through her consciousness as her squadron prepared for the jump. Dr. William Turner's voice came through the neural link, his excitement barely contained. Remember, the weapons aren't just synchronized. They're quantum locked across space-time. What one missile sees, they all see. What one warhead learns, they all learn. Martinez closed her eyes, letting her mind merge deeper with her fighter systems. The new quantum weapons felt different from conventional armaments, less like tools and more like extensions of human consciousness itself. Her squadron, call sign Phantom, had spent months mastering the technology that Turner's team had created. Hegemony Battle Group detected. Her tactical officer reported. 6 capital ships, multiple escort squadrons. They're moving to engage the colony at Alpha Centauri. This ends today. Martinez broadcast to her squadron. Phantom Group, execute jump sequence. Pattern Nova. The quantum drives engaged and reality twisted. Traditional faster-than-light travel followed predictable paths through space-time. But the quantum-entangled drives that Turner had developed didn't just bend space, they rewrote its rules entirely. Phantom Squadron emerged from quantum space in 12 different locations simultaneously, their neural interfaces allowing the pilots to coordinate across impossible distances. The Hegemony fleet, still bound by conventional tactical doctrine, began to adjust their formation. They're deploying point defense screens, Lieutenant Sarah Rodriguez reported through the neural link. Standard Hegemony response pattern. Martinez smiled. Execute attack pattern Chaos 3. Her consciousness expanded through the quantum-entangled network, feeling each of her pilots' positions and intentions. The Hegemony's tactical computers would see their maneuvers as random, unpredictable. But through their shared neural space, every movement was part of an intricate dance. The first quantum-locked missile launched. Unlike conventional weapons, these didn't travel through normal space. They existed in multiple states simultaneously, their quantum signatures intertwined with the pilot's neural patterns. The Hegemony's defense systems tracked 12 separate missile trails, each seeming to follow standard attack vectors. They never saw the real attack coming. Impact in 3, Martinez subvocalized. Quantum convergence executing. The missiles didn't just strike their targets, they rewrote local spacetime around the impact points. 12 became 1 became infinite, each warhead existing in all possible attack vectors simultaneously until observation collapsed them into devastating certainty. The lead hegemony vessel's shields, designed to stop conventional weapons, might as well have been tissue paper. First kill confirmed, Rodriguez reported. Their tactical network is going crazy. They can't classify the weapon type. Martinez pushed deeper into the neural interface, feeling the quantum weapon's resonance through her enhanced consciousness. Show them what humanity's been working on. Fold spread. Pattern sunburst. Phantom Squadron moved like ghostly predators through the chaos of battle. Their fighters seemed to ignore the laws of physics, appearing to be in multiple places at once until the moment of attack. The quantum-entangled weapons created patterns of destruction that defied conventional military doctrine. Through her neural link, Martinez felt the growing panic in the hegemony fleet. Their rigid tactical protocols, unchanged for centuries, had no answer for weapons that rewrote reality itself. Their attempts to predict attack vectors failed because human intuition, enhanced by neural interfaces and quantum technology, operated beyond the realm of prediction. Their flagship is attempting an emergency jump, Rodriguez called out. They're breaking formation. Not today, Martinez growled. Execute Operation Checkmate. The quantum weapon network activated its final protocol. As the hegemony flagship spooled up its conventional FTL drive, it found itself trapped in a quantum resonance field. Space itself seemed to fold around the massive vessel, trapping it in a bubble of altered reality. Quantum lock achieved. Turner's voice came through the command channel. Their drive signatures are contained. The entire fleet is cut off from FTL escape. Martinez broadcast on all frequencies, knowing the hegemony commanders would hear. This is Captain Rachel Martinez of the Terran Defense Initiative. Your tactical doctrine is obsolete. Your technological superiority is an illusion. Surrender now, or witness firsthand how humanity wages war. The battle that followed would be studied for centuries to come, not for its duration. It lasted barely 15 minutes, but for what it represented. The day humanity proved that innovation and adaptability would always triumph over rigid doctrine and assumed superiority. Colonel Sarah Anderson stood in the darkened command center of Project Oracle, watching as the Orcs fleet assembled for their supposed joint military exercise. Her neural interface hummed with encrypted data streams from thousands of quantum surveillance nodes scattered across known space. They're deploying their bioweapon platforms, Lieutenant James Weber reported, his augmented eyes tracking multiple holographic displays, counting 37 capital ships, each carrying enough genetic reprogramming agents to alter an entire planet's population. Anderson's expression remained neutral, even as she felt the weight of billions of lives resting on the next few moments. Status of their command protocols. Exactly where we predicted. Dr. Jessica Brooks answered, her neural link pulsing as she monitored the quantum network. They're using the modified control systems we accidentally let them steal. 98% of their fleet has incorporated our quantum resonance architecture. The main display showed the Orcs flagship approaching Earth's defense perimeter. First speaker Nexus transmission came through, its voice carrying the same smooth confidence it had shown during months of false negotiations. Admiral Reynolds, our forces are in position to begin the exercise. We look forward to demonstrating the full capabilities of our combined technologies. Anderson watched as Reynolds played his part perfectly, his holographic avatar showing just the right mix of pride and naivety. We're honored to participate, first speaker. Our neural-linked pilots are particularly eager to learn from your tactical expertise. Nexus's skin rippled with barely concealed triumph. Indeed. Let us begin with a demonstration of synchronized fleet operations. The Orcs vessels moved into attack formation, their movements disguised as routine exercise maneuvers. Anderson felt the subtle shift in their quantum signatures as they prepared to activate their hidden control protocols, the very backdoors they thought humanity had been too primitive to notice. They're powering up their override systems, Weber reported, attempting to seize control of our defense grid. Now, Anderson allowed herself a small smile. Execute Operation Masterstroke. Across vast stretches of space, thousands of quantum surveillance nodes shifted from passive observation to active intervention. The quantum resonance keys, hidden within the Orcs' stolen technology, activated simultaneously, creating a cascading wave of system failures throughout their fleet. By the way, first speaker, Reynolds' hologram said conversationally, "We've been meaning to thank you for your technological gifts. They've been most instructive." The alien skin patterns shifted to show shock and rage as realization dawned. "What have you done?" "The night of falling stars begins now." Anderson broadcast on all frequencies. "Project Oracle, initiate full spectrum deployment." The quantum network came alive with devastating purpose. Every Orcs base, hidden facility, and secret installation that they had so carefully hidden from the galaxy suddenly found itself exposed. The surveillance nodes that had watched silently for months now served as targeting beacons for humanity's quantum-entangled weapons. "Multiple strikes confirmed," Brooks reported, her voice tight with concentration, as she coordinated the massive assault through the neural interface. "Their bioweapon research facilities are being neutralized. Quantum locks established around their primary shipyards. FTL capabilities neutralized across 87% of their territory." On the main display, the Orcs fleet hung helpless in space, their ships trapped in a web of quantum interference that turned their own technology against them. First Speaker Nexus's final transmission showed genuine fear, an emotion its species had likely not felt in centuries. "Impossible. You were supposed to be primitive. Manageable." "A common misconception," Anderson replied calmly. "You see, first speaker, humanity doesn't just adapt to technology. We transform it. Every system you thought you were manipulating us with became part of our evolution. Every secret you thought you were keeping became part of our understanding." The quantum strikes continued across space, precision attacks guided by months of patient observation. The Orcs' mighty empire, built on the subjugation of other species through technological superiority, crumbled in a single, perfectly orchestrated night of revelation. "Colonel," Weber called out, "we're detecting massive energy signatures from their core worlds. They're attempting to activate some kind of doomsday protocol." Anderson's neural interface pulsed as she accessed the quantum network. "Not anymore. Humanity wrote the ending to this story months ago. They just didn't know they were reading from our script." Admiral Thomas Reynolds stood at the command podium aboard the Phoenix Rising, Earth's new flagship, as representatives from former hegemony worlds gathered in the Grand Assembly Hall. The ship's quantum crystalline hull, forged from humanity's understanding of both hegemony and Orcs technology, sparkled with iridescent patterns that reflected the distant stars. Dr. Amanda Richardson, now director of the Interstellar Technology Division, stepped forward to address the assembled alien delegates. Her neural interface glowed subtly beneath her skin, a reminder of how far humanity had come from those desperate days in underground bunkers. "The Terran Accords are not about dominance," she began, her voice carrying across the chamber. "They're about evolution. Not just technological evolution, but the evolution of understanding between species." The delegates stirred, their various forms, from the crystalline Solarians to the gaseous Nebulans, creating a living tapestry of galactic diversity. Among them sat former hegemony military commanders who had once bombarded Earth, now here to ensure their people's survival in a human-led galaxy. "Humanity's strength," Richardson continued, "never came from superior technology or overwhelming force. It came from our ability to learn, to adapt, and most importantly, to transform failure into opportunity." Reynolds watched as holographic displays showed the ongoing reconstruction efforts across multiple worlds. The quantum network, once used for surveillance and warfare, now coordinated the largest peaceful cooperation in known space. Former Orcs colony worlds were being rehabilitated, their enslaved populations freed, and their ecosystems restored. "Each of you," Reynolds addressed the assembly, brings unique perspectives and capabilities to our shared future. The rigid hierarchies of the past led to stagnation. Humanity proposes a different path, one of collaborative evolution. Lieutenant Emma Carter, her cybernetic arm gleaming, demonstrated the latest advances in neural interface technology. The same systems that had once given humanity an edge in combat now allowed for unprecedented communication and understanding between species. Alien delegates watched in amazement as she interfaced simultaneously with multiple species technology, bridging gaps that had seemed insurmountable. The quantum resonance networks, Carter explained, can be adapted to each species' unique neural patterns. We're not asking you to become human. We're offering tools to help each species achieve their own potential. From her position near the chamber's entrance, Colonel Sarah Anderson monitored the quantum security grid. The lessons of the Orcs' betrayal had not been forgotten, but neither had they led to paranoia. The security systems were transparent, their protocols shared with all signatories of the Accords. Today, Reynolds continued, we sign more than a peace treaty. We establish a framework for galactic cooperation based on shared growth rather than imposed order. Earth remembers what it means to face extinction. We have no desire to inflict that fear on others. Dr. William Turner, his quantum physics team having revolutionized space travel, presented the Assembly with humanity's most ambitious proposal yet, the Galactic Exchange Initiative. The project would create a network of quantum-linked research centers across all aligned worlds, allowing for instantaneous sharing of scientific discoveries, while respecting each species' cultural sovereignty. The universe is vast, Turner said, and its mysteries endless. No single species can hope to unlock them alone. Together, we can achieve what the hegemony's rigid control and the Orcs' manipulations never allowed. True collaborative innovation. As the signing ceremony began, Richardson found herself standing next to a Solarian elder whose crystalline form had once commanded ships against Earth. The alien's resonance patterns expressed both wonder and uncertainty. You could have demanded retribution, the Solarian observed. Your weapons could have forced compliance. Richardson smiled, touching the neural interface that had started humanity's journey. Force creates only temporary allies. Understanding creates lasting peace. Besides, she added, humanity's greatest weapon was never our technology. It was our ability to imagine a better future and work relentlessly to achieve it. The Terran Accords were signed as distant stars bore witness. The galaxy would remember this not as the day humanity claimed supremacy, but as the moment when the endless cycle of dominance and subjugation gave way to something new. An age of collaborative evolution, guided by a species that had transformed near extinction into transcendence.